NAS. It's going crazy. Going crazy. Ever since last week, we have been talking about this on the calls, and we spoke about how we had a nice setup in here last week. Ever since like December 12th, around there. It's so bullish, right? We had the liquidity, we swept the lows, broke above the highs, came back for the retests, and then flew. Very, very textbook. Very, very textbook. How would you can smaller time frame entries for buys? Sheesh. I mean, I almost had a seizure reading that message. You gotta. How would you catch smaller time frame entries for? Oh, okay. Yeah. So as far as that, go down to the smaller time frames, like the 5 minute, 15 minute, and this was the original trade on Thursday, and then we just kept scaling in. But this is what we saw originally. This was pretty textbook as well. And again, it's always going to be the same setup. It's never going to be anything different. It's never going to be a surprise or, oh, like what's happening here. It's always going to be the same thing. You can't swing. Yeah. So if you can't swing, then yeah, this is a scalp entry here. This is not a swing trade, right? But we had liquidity being built up. We swept the lows and we broke above the highs, right? And then we came back for the retests. Price flew, and then it did come lower. And I believe, Oswaldo, you actually called this out. You said this was the nicest inverted you've seen when price gapped up. We had the liquidity again, swept it, and then broke above. So this right there was your setup. And then price flew, and it even came back again right here. Filled in the gap perfectly, and then price flew once more. So we had at least two opportunities to enter this trade, whether you're swinging or scalping. I did scalp this though. I did scalp this, and then I ended up catching more entries to swing it. It just looked too good. It just looked too good. Was good, Ralph. We got Fig. We got my guy Jonathan Fox. We got Manny, Ozzy, La Pampera, Edsel. What's up? What's up? But yeah, this was the trade that we sent out here in the chats last Thursday, and sometimes price likes to play around. Like sometimes it likes to consolidate, but the setup was never violated. We never really broke beneath these lows with a full body candle. Yes, we came right here on it, but that's just a wick on a higher time frame. So that wasn't really anything too crazy. And then it even gave more confirmation after that with that gap up on Thursday. That was a very solid confirmation. And then price played around, even gave a sell setup. And this is why I tell you guys to not let sell setups distract you. All right, we had liquidity, we swept ahead, and then we came below. So a lot of people were selling here, but you have to understand that this is a bullish market. So yes, I mean, you will see sell setups, and those are going to be distractions, because if you let that distract you, you may miss out on the buy opportunities. Right, so that's why I always stick to the trend. I don't want to make trading harder than it needs to be. Just follow the trend. If you see a setup that goes against the trend, hey, that's fine. Let it drop into your zone and then continue the move, right? And I know, some people they wanted it to come lower as well. Even me, of course, you want price to come lower, but we don't know what it's gonna do. We don't know how low it wants to go. We don't know how deep the retracement is going to be. That's why you have to just stick to the structure itself, right? We had all this right here that price could have came into. We had another setup here, liquidity, sweep, break above, barely even got the retest, and then price flew, right? We don't know how low it wants to go, but as price does develop, it's very important to pay attention to what's happening. It's always going to be the same thing. It's always going to be some type of liquidity, whether you're on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the weekly, the daily, it doesn't matter. It's going to show you the same exact thing every single time. And I highly encourage you after this call to go on your charts and start marking up setups. You want to train your eyes. You want to train your eyes so you can identify it as soon as possible. If you open up a chart and you can't identify the setup within like 5 seconds, that means you need to go back to the chart. You should be able to see this immediately as soon as you open the chart. Your eyes should be so trained to the point to where you can open up any chart, any coin, any stock, and see this immediately. And if you can't, that's fine. It takes time. You need to train your eyes, right? And then if you look at US30, if you miss NAS, that's fine, because now US30 is giving us a similar setup. NAS has already ran and flown. US30 hasn't. So now we can probably take advantage of this. We can probably ride these back up to the all-time highs. That's 1,400 pips. Super, super solid. Super, super solid. We had the higher entry over here. We had the liquidity being built up. We swept the lows, broke above the highs, and then price, we were entering right here at 4,400, right? And then price did give us some drawdown, still in drawdown now. Even here, hovering right over the stop loss of this higher entry, but we also have another one down here. We have another entry down here. That's perfectly fine. This is even better. We had a lot of liquidity being built up, swept the lows, and then broke above the highs right here. Boom. And then price is working its way all the way back down. So it's perfect. So the best thing that we can do now is just start, loading up some orders for US30, right? Since this one hasn't really taken off like NAS. Hasn't taken off like NAS just yet. So it's giving us a grace period, giving us some time to enter. But let's say you're kind of skeptical and you wanna have more evidence. Maybe you want to wait for more proof. That's fine, right? I actually encourage that, right? So we have liquidity being built up, right? All this consolidation. And then we did just today, we swept all these lows. So now to confirm that we in fact do want to go bullish, we have to see price break above these highs, right? These highs, these highs, these highs, right? Each high that we break above just gives us more confirmation. So once you break above these highs and we retrace, stack more. We break above these highs up here, boom, retrace, stack more. We break above these highs, retrace, stack more, and just continue stacking in the direction, right? That's what we're waiting for. So in order for me to have more confidence in these US30 buys, I want to see some type of break above these highs. You can even use the lower highs down here, right? There's another area right here, these highs, because this was the last high that was created before we broke beneath these lows, right? So you can use that one. That's very solid. Liquidity, boom, boom, sweep, break above, I'll take that. And then break above that one, I'll take that. Break above these, I'll take it, and then so on and so forth. That's how you stack orders for swings, and that's how you know if you should keep holding the trade, because the more highs we break, the more confirmation that we have of price wanting to continue in that bullish direction. And again, if this is sounding a little bit confusing or maybe too fast, feel free to go check out the education tab on the left and then watch the market structure YouTube video. I did break it down very, very clean in there. So feel free to check that out. But right now for US30, we are here. We are here. And if price wants to come lower, down to 43.5, I wouldn't mind. Definitely wouldn't mind that. Anything in between like 44 and 43, like all this, I'm willing to, place orders, right? You can even go down to the 1 minute chart, and then wait for the confirmation on there, right? The 1 minute, I would say at least like the 5 minute just to be safe. But yeah, you can do the same thing here. Look at some of these highs. Like this is a high as well. We need to break above that one. So just look for price to give you some type of signal. And so far, if you did enter, I recommend, getting in some trades. I'm not going to tell you, how to manage your account, but I'm personally in. I've been in since last week. It has been giving us, insane consolidation. nasty consolidation, so it hasn't really moved too much. That's why it's important to, trade all three: NAS, SPX, and US30. And again, we have been talking about this for the past, week now. Super clean. And then SPX, let me see, SPX has been respecting the same zone for a while. Where I still haven't broken above the highs just yet, but it has been respecting the zone. This was the original setup. Again, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the month. Right here, this was the cleanest one. Boom, sweep, break above. We came back into the zone, even swept the stop loss with a wick, and then took off. Right, so but this setup is still valid. But yeah, that's all we have for indices. Super clean, super solid. Right, we're just riding the wave. I'm going to focus more on US30 just because, NAS has already made the move. It's already given the setup down here and flew. So unless we see some other type of setup in here, then, I would just be patient, let price do its thing until we see some more evidence. But the main focus as of now is US30, right? When price is dropping, you want to buy low. You want to buy when price is low. So when I see prices drop like this, I get excited because now it lets us know that we are getting a discount. So when you see price dropping, that's good. You want to see that, right? Because you want to buy when the price is low, right? And then you want to sell when the price is high, like NAS. Okay? A lot of people, when they see a price going up, they want to buy. Oh, it's going up, let's buy. But then that's when you get cooked. So you need to allow price to do its thing. You need to allow price to drop a little bit. So that's why we're going to exercise some patience with NAS, let it do its thing. And then, like I said, US30 is the main contender, the main contestant. But that's pretty much it. That's all I got for indices. Unless you guys have any other questions, go ahead and feel free to, you can unmute. You can type it in the chat again, and feel free to, watch these videos when I do post them on YouTube. If something that it didn't make sense, you can always go back and watch the video again. You can always message in the Discord chat as well. But as of right now, we're just stacking. Allowing price to give us some confirmation. Let me go ahead and set my alarm for this one. Yeah, once we get that confirmation here, I'm going to be stacking more. I'm going to stack more orders at every one of these. Like, these are the main ones. After I stack here, I'm done. And I'm going to just let it, play out. Because I believe that's on the Fibonacci, that's around 50%. I would say here, around 44. After that, you kind of want to stop stacking because then you're like getting into, the higher premium prices. But yeah, anywhere below 50% is valid because you're meeting the bare minimum requirement. So yeah, we're good. I got you, Manny. Of course.